Here, another build video. If you saw my previous Sorcerer video and understand it, then this video is just going to be completely useless to you. I'm just explaining why I run the things I do on my Sorcerer, because I feel that my last video was pretty abrupt, didn't really go into detail, so we're going to fix that. Skills. On my front bar, we're running Crystal Fragments, essential for a Sorcerer. Haunting Curse, essential. Running Inner Light over Execute, just because, this is builds meant for, BGs non-CP. For BGs, I don't like stealing kills with Fury. Yeah, it was fun at first, but it's kind of sleazy, kind of cheap. The Deathmatch game mode would be pretty advantageous run Execute just so the enemy doesn't get the kills, but as far as stealing them from your teammates, that's kind of sleazy. I mean, I'd rather be outputting more damage and having more of an impact than just having a nice scoreboard, 29-0, 28-0 bullshit. I hate Sorcs who brag about that and screenshot that regularly. That's nothing impressive on a Sorcerer. Show me your damage and then we'll talk. Running Crushing Shock over Force Pulse. A lot of Sorcerers, including myself, running Dark Conversion. This interrupts that shit, shuts that shit down. Shut down Engine Guardian, shuts down Stamina Sorcerers who thrive on Dark Conversion. So this is an absolute must. Running Streak on front bar. Point being, if you know me in person, I play a very aggressive Sorc. So having the Streak on front bar is an absolute must for me. A little bit of trivia. Ball Lightning, the other morph, also good. If you like Necropotence, have a set of that farm. Ball Lightning actually procs Necropotence because the ball itself counts as a pet. So think about that when you're going in for your burst rotations. Could be really nice. Running Shooting Star. Reason I'm running Shooting Star over Ice Comet is that most people are Vampire. So extra flame damage is better than the frost damage. And also generates ulti. And all that synergizes really well with our race because we're Dark Elf. Alright, so back bar. 3 wards pretty common. You could run Dampen. It doesn't really matter. You're running kind of a low match pool. I mean, not super high. You're not going to have any sustain issues like whatsoever. You have infinite sustain. That's not a joke. It's not clickbait. You have infinite sustain. You toss on damage may be better. I just like Harness, so you have to Dark Conversion a little bit less. Power Surge over Entropy. I like the really long buff duration. Plus, this keeps you healed up a little bit instead of having to pop Healing Word all the time, which is pretty annoying. So, there's that. Running Lice Champion. This shit needs nerfed ASAP. Really cheap ultimate cost. Heals you for a lot. And it gives you, major protection and increases your crit damage 15% for 5 seconds. That's pretty broken, as cheap as that is. So that needs nerfed eventually. But for right now, I mean, it's what you want on your Sorcerer. I mean, I don't see how you can run anything else. Maybe you could run Dawnbreaker Meteor, but this is too good for those oh shit situations when you get jumped by 3 or 4 proc blades. This will get you out of it safe and sound. Last skill I want to go over is Dark Conversion. This is an absolute must on this build. This is how this build sustains. This is how it operates. So take a look at the character sheet. I do have 1500 stamina recovery. That's a little bit overkill. You can swap the Serpent out for a little bit more burstiness, like the Shadow. I've tried the Mage and the Apprentice. I think the Shadow is better for higher crits. So the way this build works is, you blow your load, your entire magical pool, whatever. You get into like 50 or so percent, start Dark Conversioning. Don't let yourself get too low, like 25, 10%, because people's going to be able to interrupt you. So go in, do your little burst, whatever. Line of sight for just a few seconds, get a few of these off. We have such a high stamina pool. I mean, after 4 or 5 of these, you're up to full from absolute 0. And look how many times I'm spamming this. I mean, that's about 10 times I'm only down to 50% stamina. In BGs, you can actually triple roll dodge with this build, which is pretty awesome. Let me get this. I mean, obviously you can triple roll dodge in CP, which I have slotted, but you have 32% left over. You can break free and Dark Conversion with the remaining. This build is highly mobile. You are super hard to kill. It is hard to lock you down. You have so much stamina. You have streak. You have dark conversion. You're going to be able to get away from absolutely anything. It doesn't matter. 3 times. It's crazy. Anyway, we'll go ahead and move on to the CP tree. I won't spend a lot of time in this just because this is a no CP build. I will tell you right now, some of these points are not allocated correctly, but I digress. 51 points in the Warlord. You're always breaking free. Gotta have it. I got some wasted points here in Mooncalf. As you know, the system rounds it down to the nearest whole number, so anything over 8% but not reaching 9% is wasted. Arcanist, 49 points, pretty basic. 51 in the Shadow Ward, 24 in Tumbling. I block more than I roll dodge, so I adjust accordingly. This tree, you can vary it around a little bit. You have 49 points in Ellie. This applies to pretty much all your spells. Actually, yeah, all your spells. 66 in the Elfborn. Like I said, system rounds down, so 22% is a whole number. I have 22 points into Spell Erosion. This equates to about 3, almost 4% overall damage. Spell Erosion's much more front-loaded this patch, so 22 points is a pretty good bang for your buck. I mean, you would have to put a shit ton more points into Ellie Expert to get the 4%, 3-4% that Spell Erosion gives you in flat value. This tree I may be changing around a little bit just because of the recent buffs to light attacks. You could put good 48 points in this and get like another 25% buff on top of the I think the patch is 30% more damage on light attacks, maybe 20%, don't quote me on that, but you're going to be hitting 6-7k light attacks and even more so on vampires. It's really good. 72% to master arms. This applies to all your abilities besides streak. Really good. A little trick, utilizing the tactician passive. The reason I said 48 earlier is so you can get this passive. When you use roll dodge attack, when you roll dodge and attack, you set the enemy off balance. Okay, Hoarcrux, why do you want to use this? Well, I explained in my Magicka Warden video. If you had the Exploiter passive, right, you can set up some pretty nice burst combos. This Tactician debuff is about 4 seconds, I believe. So during that 4 seconds, you do 10% more damage. Of course, you would have to put like 75 or whatever points in Thaumaturge. If you like running Dawnbreaker, just toss them into Mighty, so your Dawnbreakers hit hella hard. On top of that, with the Exploiter passive, you're always roll dodging anyway on this build, so this could actually work out really well. Having got around to fully testing it, I do know that the off balance debuff is you're supposed to be able to knock people down with a medium to heavy attack. I know it does not work on players. I've tested that portion of it, so that's unfortunate. Could run a little bit of a dot build on Sorcerer. I wouldn't really recommend it. You'd have to really delve into, a lot of different sets. Dot builds and Sorcerers are, it's not too viable right now, in my opinion. But like I said, that is an interesting food for thought. On DKs, maybe DKs run this. I don't know. I definitely would. Tossing 75 points here. You have the Explorer passive, and if you run the 2 sets I do, Shacklebreaker, Amber, and then 1 Kiana, there's your especially a Destro DK. Destro DKs, I don't see a lot of them, but they do hit hella hard. You could definitely run that build with Tactician. You could set up some really fucking hard meteor bursts. Absolutely devastating. Anyway, 51 points in Ironclad. I should probably have 72 points in this for 23%. It doesn't really matter. It's good flat value anyway. These points are wasted. You need 49 points in here to get the 11%, and it's kind of the same thing goes for Hardy. You can probably take some points out of this and toss them elsewhere. Like I said before, the system rounds down to the nearest whole number. 72 points in the Bastion. I mean, why not? Your Sorcerer, you have 3 bubbles. I mean, that's most bang for your buck. And that pretty much does it for the champion tree. Like I said, we're running tri-stats for, the extra stamina, 18k stamina pool, which is hella high. Switch the Serpent out for Shadow, in my opinion, to really optimize this. And that really about does it for the build, guys. It's not too complex. I haven't really done, a whole lot of different things. as far as uniqueness goes, I mean this is my play style. I like to roll dodge. I like to be up in your face. I like to be agile. And this really suits that. Yeah, you are sacrificing a little bit of damage compared to what you could be running, maybe like a War Maiden, Necropotence, other sets like that. But I feel that having the infinite sustains you do and the mobility that you do really outweighs just a glass cannon build. You're a lot more useful to your team if you run this like a team build. So I mean that's the build, fellas. If you have any questions about it, message me. Um, via in-game message, YouTube, doesn't matter. Happily more questions. Critique the build the way you want. It's your build. Do what the fuck you want with it. Tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. I mean, everyone has their own opinions, but that's what I'm running as of right now in Vardenfell. So enjoy. Thanks, guys.